Hello everyone, this is Venom Geek Media here, and today we shall be continuing our Summer of Spaceships with yet another review. Today we shall be reviewing the set for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Milano vs. Abelisk. So this is obviously a Marvel set based on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's got the Milano, it also has the Abelisk, which we see at the beginning. Our main focus, as it's the Summer of Spaceships, will of course be the design of this ship. But, you know, we'll look at the set in general and, of course, these great minifigures. But first, perhaps a bit of background on this ship. This is the second iteration. It's much smaller, much cheaper than the last iteration, which could actually house all the Guardians and, like, have them in different parts of the ship. This one is significantly smaller, so we'll be testing it to see can it do the same. But let's just get the kind of, you know, other stuff out of the way first. First, we'll look at the Abelisk, which is just pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of pink parts, and it has rotating tentacles and an opening and closing mouth. It's pretty fun. It's cool. It gives you a little bit of, you know, inbox conflict, and it allows you to recreate the scene at the beginning of the movie, which is pretty cool. So can't really complain there. It is just, you know, a bit of the Abelisk sticking out of a wall, just the front of it. Maybe they could have done the full thing, but that would have come at the expense of more parts. The real star of the show is the Milano. Now let's get on to the minifigures. Right, so we have Nebula, Drax, Star-Lord, and Gamora. Oh, and not forgetting Baby Groot. I will just zoom in on them. I mean, they're all alright minifigures. They're all good, you know, pretty good. Nice prints. I really like Drax and Nebula, and of course Baby Groot. The helmet for Star-Lord. But let's get into some of the con. So let's get into the fact that, now let's look at the Milano. So you can see my other video for kind of talking about the actual in-movie design concerning it, but let's just look at this LEGO depiction. You can go away, Abelisk, and move the minifigs to the side for now. I mean, yeah. Just to give you a little bit of a view of the whole thing, it's just a very nice ship to really depict, but also very difficult. It's very organic in its shapes and very elegant. The build here is actually quite interesting. I don't know if they did that with the first one, but that was quite cool. The wings are very sturdy and durable. You know, it's a very durable design, mostly because there's not much hollow to it. Down here, though, there is an issue. I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of a gap there, just a bit of a random gap. That doesn't look great. But, you know, I feel maybe they could have done something about it, maybe they couldn't. I don't know. It has, in terms of, you know, play features, you can obviously open and close the cockpit. You have these stud shooters on the top. You also have these, you can also drop bombs, which is pretty epic. The only problem with that mechanism is sometimes it's a bit primitive. It's just pressing these down and they push on here. But sometimes they can take that 2x4 with them in quite hilarious fashion. Just sweep those bombs away. It lacks detailing underneath that its previous version had, but it has a better colour scheme, you know, actually orange, and it lacks the interior detailing as well. Now, let's get to kind of the main question on everybody's mind. Can it fit all the Guardians in? So that is going to include Star-Lord, who will pop in the driver's seat. I like the window. I do like the canopy piece. That is a very nice piece. You also then put Gomorrah in. They actually use these half-notch pieces to get it right. Those ones there, in there. So it's a bit weird attaching them because they are actually only attached by 2 studs. So one half of them is no studs at all, and we put in Drax. Now, in order to get Baby Groot in, it's Baby Groot. Looks awesome. In order to put Baby Groot in, he doesn't actually have a seat of his own or anything that can be used as a seat of his own. Certainly nowhere he can be visible, so you actually have to stand him on Drax's, specifically Drax's, hand, and just tilt him to the side. Then just sit Drax in there, and he has to be holding Baby Groot. He just sort of peeks round in his very adorable little way. Come on, and the connections are just horrible. And then finally, Rocket, who you just pop in the back and close up. So there you go. It does fit all the Guardians in there. Just about. It looks very cramped. And that's because it is. It's a very tight squeeze. And then we also have all this stuff. Star-Lord's blasters, Gamorra's sword, Drax's blades, Star-Lord's helmet, not to mention Rocket's stuff. Rocket actually comes from a different set. He comes from Ravager Attack, but but even so, where do I put them all? Oh, nowhere. I can't put them anywhere. There is nowhere on board for me to put them. They don't give us anything. This is really quite disappointing and annoying. What am I meant to do? Have these pieces just lying loose? It's really not good. That kind of annoys me, that there's no compartment for storing away pieces. There's no way to easily store away all these accessories. So it's great that you gave them to us, but give us something. At least maybe build, some clips onto the side of the Abelisk base. Maybe that would work. But that really frustrates me and annoys me. Also, like, the wings on the Milano, the connection's very dodgy. It's all very quite dodgy, and sometimes they'll very easily pop out because they're fighting each other for really not very much space. They're great and posable, but they're very loose, or they'll work their way loose very quickly. So there's that, which is not great. Again, returning to the cockpit, there's so little room in there. I mean, so little. And that is a really, really quite a tight squeeze. And actually, if you don't do it in that precise combination, and even then, some of those figures are going to pop loose quite easily, that's really not great. I know that, they wanted it to... I don't know, I think Lego maybe had it a bit hard, because they had to, do both a smaller, cheaper Milano, and as well as that, they had to actually fit all the Guardians in there, which is difficult. I mean, no one said it was easy as a task. It's certainly not easy, but these are professional designers. If it was easy, there'd be no point in doing it. So, I don't know. I like it. I really like it. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm ranting a lot here. But I do really like this set. It's very well constructed. I had a blast building it. It's got some very interesting techniques, particularly at the front. with making up this sort of front bit. That was really quite interesting. That was quite clever how they put that together, I have to admit. Most of the other is just pretty standard, but it was a fun and enjoyable build, and it's a fun and enjoyable set. Are the kids gonna like it? Yes. Yes, they definitely are. The kids are gonna love it. It's very playable. You know, it looks great. I have to admit, even though it looks a bit cramped in the cockpit, it looks great. It's very playable. And it looks more like the actual Milano than the other. I've seen people make their own mocks, kind of directly, imitating it, and that looks much better. And for us olders, we can buy the original, or we can, make our own. But for the kids that are going to play with it, I think they're going to love this. I really enjoy it. It looks great. Not too many stickers. Just the right amount, I feel. To get the detailing on. And it just, I love the colour scheme. It looks awesome. Despite, all the flaws, I feel like LEGO did the best they could. And, gave us a ship for a cheaper price, which I am all for, because the last one was ridiculous. So gave it at a better price. And in some respects, in terms of detailing and movie accuracy and shaping and probably structural integrity, I would guess, this one does better in some ways, particularly with the canopy and all that. Underside, maybe they could have put some more detailing on, but they would have struggled, I think. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. The minifigures are all great. I've heard some people complaining about Gamora and Star-Lord sharing the same torso. It's a bit annoying, and maybe they could have done 2 versions of the torso, but, whatever. Drax looks really good. I love his printing, and Baby Groot. It's got Baby Groot. That just sells half the set already. But I am quite annoyed that there aren't any places to put the accessories. That's quite impractical. And, the tight squeeze, I think they did the best they could, but it is frustrating trying to get all the Guardians in there, and you will get annoyed with it, as I have. But it's quite it fits in some very nice play features, and like I say, it looks great. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.